Today, I thought I would show an example of how I get started as a fresh spawn in DayZ. Hopefully this will be, short enough to be useful and interesting enough to be useful. I peruse the DayZ subreddit, and I see a lot of questions that are asked of the community. One of the more common ones, sort of, understandably common, but also alarmingly common is how do I get started? How do I live long enough to play this game? And I get it, people who have watched, the awesome YouTube videos and Twitch clips of people doing like high level stuff in this game, they probably want to see what that's about, and you buy DayZ and install it and boot it up and join a server, and for a while nothing that you've seen in those YouTube videos is going to be what you're experiencing. So I just wanted to kind of show that it doesn't have to be that hard. It's not easy, but it's definitely not impossible to start as a fresh spawn and get a good run going. And so nothing special about this run. This is an official PlayStation server. This is a completely fresh character. And I just wanted to kind of see if I could put my money where my mouth is and actually get a successful run with the recording going and being held accountable for doing it all in one take. So I'm gonna try not to actually splice anything out. Instead, I'm going to really speed up the boring places that I don't have anything to say, and instead of just cutting them out, we'll fly through them at fast speeds. Anyway, fresh spawn, you start with a glow stick, a bandage, and one piece of food. I ate my plum right away. The idea is, early on, I'm going to be sprinting a lot, and I can sprint a lot because I've got nothing in my inventory weighing me down and affecting my stamina. So slam the plum right away, get my food and health as high as they can be as a fresh spawn, so that I can sprint for longer distances. And then there's a dead guy in the street, dead freshie, and so I'm happy to take another plum and another bandage as a fresh spawn. Both of those things are very, very valuable. The zombie in the house here, I heard him in the house, so I came over here to check it out. The zombie in the house is typically put there by a player who lured the zombie in there. They didn't want to take the time to kill the zombie. I think sometimes it's probably easier for players to just run in to a room and then run out and close the door behind them. I usually don't do that because I always get hit by the zombies as I'm trying to pull that stuff, so I feel like I might as well just fight them and make it worth my while, the damage I'm taking. But, that dead guy across the street could have been the one that put that zombie in the house. There's no way of knowing at this point. So I'm a little cautious, I'm a little wary that maybe I'm not the only one in this town, but, this whole time I had a feeling that any sort of human activity I saw was from that freshie who was dead, and I think he probably let zombies knock him unconscious so he could kind of just take the L and get a fresh spawn somewhere else, wherever he or she wanted to spawn on the map that was not here. So early on, I think part of the best part about being a fresh spawn is kind of everything you find is useful. So you're kind of excited when you just find loot. It kind of doesn't, you're not too picky about what you're finding. I've got a P coat on right now. All of the clothing items in DayZ have insulation ratings, and P-Coat has, I think, the best insulation rating. I don't think it's the best coat you can find in the game necessarily, but early on, when really all you're trying to do is live long enough to do something else, just trying to survive, I'm going to take the warmest coat I can find, no matter how it looks, and no matter, other stuff, storage capacity, whatever. I'm trying to stay warm. Same thing with any hat I find. Any hat is better than no hat, but hats have their own insulation ratings as well. So now I've got a coat, I've got a hat. I found food on the dead guy, I found food on both of those zombies. So right away, you know, I think a tip to take away from this already is that zombies are an absolutely great resource to get food when you're fresh. The traditional ways of looting, which is what I'm doing here, is running in houses and rooms and hoping that nobody's been there before, and hoping that there's not only has no one looted it, but that the loot that's remaining is food. That can be extremely frustrating, and I can understand a player starving to death if they're relying on just finding the next town and hoping there's food in it. But zombies pretty commonly have food items. I've got, what did I have? 2 plums, that pepper, these two containers of food. I don't know how to say what those are called, and a can of Coke already. So, you know, food is a necessity in DayZ, and it's something you don't really, you know, you have to address right away, but they also, I feel like, have balanced it more so even recently, where it's possible to find food right away. I think early on, and maybe not even too long ago, you could start in DayZ and just not find food, and that was part of it. I think that was actually part of the experience, is starving to death sometimes. And it seems like they're cool with letting us get past that initial hump. There's, look, more food on that screaming lady zombie. So already a pretty good start. Already I'm not worried about starving to death. And in DayZ, what are we, six minutes into this run? Not starving to death is huge. I'm always also going to want to find a melee weapon, and I think that is just simply because as early back as like one of the loading screens or like one of the hints or something, the devs made a note that said like you should always have a melee weapon on you, and you know, I took that apparently really seriously, and I don't think I've really spent any time in this game without a melee weapon on me. Probably just simply because I read that one time. But sledgehammer's definitely the melee weapon to have, if you're fresh or not. You can stun lock other survivors and zombies really easily with a sledgehammer. Not to mention the massive damage that it does means you don't have to swing that many times. So huge come up there. Probably my favorite melee weapon to have, and we've got a sledge on our back right off the bat. So I'm gonna continue looting. I do have a destination in this run just because I wanted to have an endpoint. You know, at what point do you stop being fresh, and at what point does the run become, you know, a good run and something that you feel solid about. I have a buried stash of loot. It's in a little hunting cabin. Like, there's 3 hunting cabins just north of a town called Dolina. So that is my destination. I have read that the buried loot will despawn if I don't interact with it within 14 days of it being buried. 14 days between interactions. So I got to get back there and interact with it before it despawns. At least that's the goal. And I'm cutting it close. I don't know how many days I have, but I have a feeling today could be the last day. I really don't know. But why not? You know, as far as destinations go, it works as a destination. The town I'm in, and I did. I should say that at some points in this playthrough, you're going to see me probably stop and do nothing for a few seconds. It's because I have a map open on my phone called I Survive. It's a third-party thing that I downloaded from the App Store, but incredibly useful tool. Fresh spawn or not, I like to have I Survive open when I'm playing this game. So I know roughly where I am. I got a really good spawn location just based on where my destination is, north of Dolina, where my buried stash is. So where I am right now is a town called, I think it's pronounced Cabanino. Is it Cabanino? I don't know. I'm not great at the names of the towns, but it's right on the coast in the southeast corner of the map, of the landmass. So I know where I am. I know where I need to go. With the I Survive map, I also knew that there was a police station in this town. Police station is sometimes, as long as it hasn't been looted, right? It's a good place to find a gun. If it's been looted, it's been looted, and you're not going to find anything. But as far as this town went, it didn't seem like, I was finding food everywhere. I was finding, loot everywhere. It wasn't great loot, but I was finding things in pretty much every building. So I had a feeling that nobody had been to this police station. There's a couple guns here, a couple Glocks. They're called M-locks. I think that's supposed to be a Glock. So I found a gun, I found a magazine, and a box of 9mm ammo that goes with the gun. If you're a fresh spawn and you find a gun, it is not that typical that you're going to find the rounds and the magazine for it in the same building, let alone like you might not find it in the same town, let alone the same building, right? I've carried guns around for a long time with very limited ammo or no magazine. But I have this feeling that every time I put a gun down, it's that's when I'm gonna find the magazine, right? It 2 towns away, and maybe 40 minutes later, and I'm just gonna be like, man, it'd be nice to have all the pieces to that, and then I had it all at one point and dropped it. So anyway, do not get discouraged if you find a gun, but not the rest of the stuff you need to use the gun. Take the gun. Especially as a fresh spawn, any gun is better than no gun. Ammo is fairly easy to find. It's the guns that can be tricky to find. So if you find a working firearm, you can kind of count on eventually you are going to, you're eventually going to find what you need for it. This is kind of finishing up the preliminary, horrible clothes that you spawn with as far as insulation goes. I am taking these jeans that were badly damaged. People who are upset about like weapon durability and like the Zelda game, I can't imagine what DayZ does to their brains, because everything has durability. Everything is going to deteriorate and become ruined pretty much no matter what. I don't think there's, unless you have the supplies to repair it. So right there, I just repaired my jeans that I found with duct tape. And you can use duct tape to repair most items of clothing, and the ones that duct tape isn't going to repair, I'm pretty sure without exceptions, I'm pretty sure it's the leather repair kit that would repair the other items. So if you can find those repairing items, sewing kit will repair the fabric clothes, duct tape, and a leather repair kit. It's like carrying extra clothes in your supplies, with a fraction of the inventory space being taken. So I always pick that stuff up. There's times when I found myself with too much and I have to drop a roll of duct tape or drop a sewing kit or whatever the case may be. And trust me, that's the problem I want to have. I want to have to sit there and wonder, do I need 3 leather repair kits? So it's a better problem than wishing that I still had that one, that I dropped or passed up. So this is probably going to be, one of the only times that I spend a lot of time in a town looting houses, and you'll see as we get further on into this particular run, I do not feel safe in these towns. Not only are there obviously zombies out there trying to kill me, but it's in towns is where pretty much I always get killed by other survivors. Nobody's ever just found me in the middle of the woods and killed me. And trust me, I spent a lot of time in the middle of the woods. It's very rare that I even see hints or signs of other players out there in no man's land. So the sheer statistics of it, I don't know, 80% of my deaths have happened in towns like these, looting houses. So I don't love being here. As a fresh spawn, I have no choice. I need to get a good level, a baseline level of food, a baseline level of insulation in my clothes. And once I'm sure that I'm not going to freeze to death or starve to death, when I'm away from civilization, that's when I can make my way away from town and if all goes well, avoid towns in a big way, you know, until I run out of something that I need. But for the first hour of a fresh character, yeah, I'm checking these houses with a sledgehammer in my hands, you know, kind of no matter what. In a house, I pretty much feel good with a melee weapon because I doubt I'm gonna run into anybody with, you know, an LAR out here in Cabanino. God, I hope it's Cabanino. I've said it twice now. I'm gonna find someone who has, like, you know, maybe one of those. What is it? The pistol that uses the 380 rounds, or you know, another Glock or something. I'm gonna find someone who's gonna have to shoot me multiple times to take me down. If I find anyone with a gun out here at all, but you know, in close quarters, they better be good shot and they better have a fast trigger, because if I get one swing on them with a sledgehammer, it's over with. They're stun locked until they're dead. So yeah, I feel pretty OP running in and looting these houses with a sledgehammer, to the point where you saw I'm probably not going to take my gun out too much in a scenario like this where I'm looting houses. Between you and me, I'm not the best shot in this game, so I also think that's also another reason I'm probably more deadly with a sledgehammer. It requires minimal skill, and I think I'm decent at this video game, but there's a lot that goes into this video game, and shooting people, that's not one of the things I've spent a whole lot of time doing in DayZ. If you were looking for, like, how to be an awesome PvP player, I don't think that's the title of this video, and you're definitely in the wrong place. There's good PvP players out there. I don't know how many of them are doing it on a PlayStation controller. Some of the shots I see them hitting and stuff, man, it's like, I don't know if they're doing it on a PlayStation controller, more power to them. I'm not saying it's easier with a mouse and keyboard, but the only reason I'm not saying that is because I've never done it with a mouse and keyboard. I have a suspicion that if I did have a mouse and keyboard, I would be able to confirm that it is easier to shoot in this game that way. So I'm essentially just trying to get my bearings. Among the list of things I feel really good with when I'm like, okay, now I can make a move. You know, I want insulation and food, as I've already said probably like 3 times. And then we've got some decent insulation. It's not raining and it's not super cold right now. So I feel okay about the insulation. I feel good that I'm not going to starve to death. What I want now is a compass. The I Survive map is a beautiful, brilliant tool, but it's not the equivalent of an interactive map. I cannot pull up an in-game map that shows me in real time, you know, like we're all used to in video games. Like I have to look at a separate map and figure out where I am on that map and follow my progress without the game tracking it for me. If that makes sense. I'm just looking at a map and trying to figure out where I am in this game. To do that with a compass it just takes, obviously it takes the guesswork out of it, but it takes the stress level out of it too. On the coast, it's easy for me to tell. The coast orients me. The moment I lose sight of the coast, without a compass, I better be paying attention. Because in real life, it's spotty. If I'm gonna, you know, make it to a destination that I've been to 100 times, like I get lost pretty easily. In this video game, when literally the trees and roads look the same because they're assets in a virtual game, it's really easy to get turned around. So I'm going to start looking at hunting stands. It's one of my favorite places to find loot. They're scattered like crazy, like they're all over the map. You're usually never more than, I don't know, a couple hundred meters away from a hunting stand, depending on, with exceptions, I'm sure. But I find that I can make my way to my destinations usually by using hunting stands as my landmarks, and just going from hunting stand to hunting stand in the general direction that I'm trying to head, just as reliably as I could follow towns and roads. So looking for a compass, and lo and behold, the very first hunting stand, or is that a hunting stand? Those little structures might be called something else, but either way, compasses spawn in them, and now I've got one, which is kind of the last piece of the puzzle. I would not say I'm confidently geared yet in any way. I don't have some of the things that I would feel better having, but I tell you, within 21 minutes of real life time, I've got a compass, I've got food, I've got a warm coat, and a loaded gun, which, yeah, the gun doesn't really mean all that much to me. It's very low on my priorities. I would probably be fine making this run, away from town, with the food, clothes, and compass. But I did check the police station, and I was looking for a gun, so it's not like I didn't want one. I just don't think I'm gonna need it. I can't kill a deer with it, and like I said, I'm not a good enough shot that I think me versus another player, with a Glock. I don't think I'm probably gonna get killed. So the gun is it's nice to have. At the very least, it's a last ditch backup plan for if I want to go loud and I have to kill some zombies for some reason. And I'm not going to do that. I guarantee you, because this voiceover is being recorded after the fact. I guarantee you that there's going to be a point where I should have used a gun, and I decided not to make any noise. So yeah, I've got a loaded gun. Who cares? But we're gonna we made it through the first loot of this run, and like I said, I'm gonna let this video run, but I'm gonna speed it up. We're gonna continue to hit some hunting stands, but I probably don't have too much information to give, or too much commentary to give. And I'm just popping in one more time to confirm, and hopefully it's been clear. With the sped up footage, I am just running from hunting stand to hunting stand. I'm looking. I've got the compass. I'm looking for a compass that's not damaged, so I can read it better. I mean, it's kind of hard to read, and it's just because of the state of decay that it's in. But I'm also looking for clothes. The hunting stands and those little other buildings. I can't remember what they're called. Those little outdoor structures, they will spawn hunting clothes, literally a hunting jacket, hunting pants, I think hunting boots as well, and all of that stuff has great insulation. I think they're rated best insulation in the game, so it'll if anything's going to keep you warm, it'll be those clothes. Also, they're camouflage, so I see a lot of players decked out in military garb when they play DayZ, and I always wonder, like, are you guys getting sick out there, especially when it rains or it's windy? Like, medium insulation on all that military gear. Maybe they're just always taking multivitamins or something. I'm not quite sure, but I'd rather take the high insulation, also be camouflaged, and that stuff is really easy to. I do not have to go to Tizzy or Starry Military. I don't have to go to a military base, I should say. If I'm looking for hunting gear, I can go to middle of nowhere, completely safe, isolated locations and find camouflaged clothing that keeps me warm. No brainer. And here's another little tip. I had mentioned sewing kits, duct tape, and leather repair kits in terms of like maintenance gear that you want to carry around. Sharpening stones are also, I think, equally as valuable. The sharpening stone will literally repair any damage done to knives, any sharp instrument, axes and stuff. So I find sharpening stones, and I think by the end of even this clip, I'm going to have more sharpening stones than I need. I find them in those little outhouse toilets all the time in town. If you're looking for a sharpening stone, first town you see, if no one's looted it, again, all of my advice is moot if the town's been completely looted. But if nobody's looted it and they've got a few of those outhouse toilets, you're going to find a sharpening stone. You're good. So here, I against my better judgment, I stopped at this town. I'm really good. I don't really feel like I need anything from this town in terms of like good loot. I'm not gonna find anything great here. I got food, I got duct tape, I got the stuff I need. There's a water pump that I want to fill up my canteen. I found a canteen in one of those hunting stands. I dumped the water out because I don't trust that it won't get me sick. And in DayZ, you can trust the water from these pumps as being clean. So I wanted to stop here and fill up the canteen. So I pretty much decided to leave town, went up to that hunting stand. There was a hunting jacket up there, one of those hunting jackets that I was alluding to earlier that I like to have. But that one is really bright, like white or gray or some sort of color like that. And the really bright hunting jacket, I'm not trying to wear. Yeah, it does have the best insulation, so it does have that part of what I like about the hunting gear, but it's not camouflage. Like you look like a damn, billboard wearing a bright white coat like that, so I never grabbed that one. But the point being, I had left town. I had successfully gotten out of this stupid town that I'm in right now, and I decided to come back because greedy. There's a police station in this town. There it is. There's a police station in this town, and I've got a Glock. I've got a few 9mm rounds. Despite me saying already in this video that I don't care about having a gun, I don't know. I decided to come back and see if there was another gun in here. And at this point, I'm like really paranoid. I feel like I'm not alone, man. There's zombies everywhere. I'm aggroing them. So if I'm not alone, I'm getting more paranoid that like, okay, well, if I'm not alone, definitely someone knows I'm here. If I'm not alone, there's a good chance this is where they are. There's a damn police zombie in this room that I'm pretty sure means somebody locked that police zombie in this room. You're gonna see me, I think I pull out my gun. I think at this point I am really nervous that I just told somebody in this building that I'm here. So I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna see if they come running in. That pretty much gave me a heart attack. Like, I wasn't expecting a zombie, and I definitely wasn't expecting half of a zombie sticking out of the floor. And this dude does some damage to me, man. Like, it's like fighting Oddjob in GoldenEye. Like, how am I? Not fair. And it wouldn't let me loot it. I tried to loot it, and it's like, nope, it's gone. It doesn't exist. By now, you would think maybe I'm pretty sure that I'm alone because I was doing all that and nobody has come down to kill me yet, but man, there's some scared players in this game. There's some players who literally, if they heard me down there fighting that zombie with a sledgehammer, there are players who will sit, behind a closed door. They'll remain, if they're upstairs, they'll stay upstairs behind a closed door, waiting for me to come in so they can shoot me. Even though I've made it very, very clear that I'm here. There's no way. If someone's up here, there's no way that they don't know that I'm in here. So what do they call those? There's a word for that. But there's a chance that I could open one of these doors and just get blasted. But it's DayZ, right? Gotta live a little. So I'm opening the doors. There may be stuff in here that I want. I came all this way. I risked my life. Made a bad decision coming to the police station. Made a bad decision coming back to town that I successfully, safely left. So if I'm gonna make all these bad decisions, like maybe I want something to show for it. So I found a shotgun downstairs with no ammo. I hate that shotgun. I've shot it at a couple people. I don't think I've ever hit them. You wouldn't think it would be so easy to miss with a shotgun, but like I said, that's the kind of shot I am. You know, an empty Glock with no magazine. No 9mm bullets, but I did find downstairs. I did find one more Glock magazine. So I'm like, okay, you know, bare minimum, this has been kind of worth it. I wanted to find something of value, like firearm-wise, and I found a magazine. It's badly damaged, and magazines didn't used to get badly damaged, I don't think. So I've never been sure, like, I know the gun being badly damaged will jam it. I know that now bullets and magazines can be badly damaged. I have to assume that that means they will also be more likely to jam a pistol or a gun. I haven't cared enough to look into that. I will eventually make it a top priority to repair that magazine, so I don't have to worry about if it's more likely to make my gun jam. So yeah, we're about to see some. I'm about to do some really dumb stuff. If this is a how-to of like how to be a fresh spawn, I'm not sure if I'm still fresh at this point, but I'm also sure that this is a good example of what you're not supposed to do. First, I aggroed all those zombies because I didn't think they'd be standing right there like looking at me, waiting for me to come out the door. They're always, you know, supernaturally aware of where the other doors are in a building, so that zombie saw me at this back door, ran to the front door to see if it was open so it could come kill me. Never made any sense to me, but whatever. And so now I feel kind of trapped. I'm like, if I leave either of these doors, I'm gonna aggro a zombie. But if there's anyone in this town, they're waiting for me to leave. Like, I don't want to be trapped in there any longer than I have to be. The police station's a destination for other players. So I decided to make a run for it, but I'm getting chased by zombies, and now I need just a building to go into. I need to find some sort of safe place so the zombies chill and stop aggroing on me, but instead, that door didn't open, which is kind of a common thing. I think we've all had doors not open when we tried to. The zombie was standing right in front of us, so maybe that's not a glitch. Maybe the game just understands the door can't open because the zombie was in the way. But anyway, I probably should have pulled out my gun and just shot those zombies and not tried to run to that building. I just don't like making noise. I don't like using a limited amount of bullets that I have on zombies, and I'm also kind of dumb. So yeah, I ran to a door that didn't open and got knocked out. When you get knocked out, you drop whatever was in your hands. So it happened, and I did it really quick because I'm so used to doing it. But always pick up. Always remember to pick up whatever it was, man. I don't know. That's a situation where I easily could have just regained consciousness, walked away, and forgot to grab my sledgehammer, and I wouldn't realize it until. In my case, I probably wouldn't realize it until that decision killed me. So. Just something I've gotten used to. It's definitely burned me before. I see this guy as kind of a sight for sore eyes. This is one of my favorite things to see is a zombie wearing one of those hiking backpacks. Backpack is just a bunch of inventory slots. I had a small like school backpack on that looks ridiculous, but it's also really small. You can't fit that much stuff in it. So the zombies, great resource for all kinds of things, food, other helpful items, but the stuff they're wearing can sometimes be taken from them as well. I don't think you can take like shirts and pants, but vests, backpacks, hats, you can loot those off the zombie. So whenever I see a zombie with a backpack and I don't already have a great backpack, I'm like, hey, free backpack. My destination, those little hunting cabins that I buried my stuff at. This is actually, ironically, oh man, I'd come here before a couple days ago to interact with my buried loot, and some dude smoked me, man. Like, it was raining. I'd been playing for like 2 hours trying to get back here. I was in this first cabin right here that we're looking at, and I saw movement through the windows into that cabin right there. And I saw the movement, but I don't know, man. My instinct is to talk to people because it gets lonely out here, dude. I was trying to, you know. So his first instinct was to kill me, of course. So he takes a shot at me while I'm walking out, like with my mic on, trying to talk to him. So he takes a shot at me. Super loud gun. I don't know the guns by their sounds in this game, but it was damn loud. So, you know, not being prepared for a firefight, like just wanting to go bury my stuff, dig up my stuff, and then rebury it. Like, I don't know. I wasn't ready, and he shot me a couple times and killed me about, I don't know, 100 meters from my buried stash. So I died, and now here I am again. I wanted to make sure that it hadn't despawned, but I knew if I didn't find a damn shovel, which I didn't find, hey look, there's my buried stash. It's still here. So less than 14 days ago was the last time I dug this up and reburied it. This is me checking to see if it would let me dig it up with the sledgehammer. But yeah, I made it here a couple days ago and got killed over by that cabin before I got here to dig up my stuff. It was, it was perfect. I was so mad, but like I couldn't have made it up any better. Like that's, if I was gonna die, it's hilarious that that's where I died. So anyway, that is that's a fresh spawn run with a destination. I started off with nothing. My plum and my glow stick and my bandage. And despite getting knocked out by some zombies out there in Dolina, pretty much a standard fresh start for me. And again, I think I was being a little reckless because I knew that the server was shutting down. I saw the 60-minute thing a while back, and I knew I was trying to make this video, and that I didn't want to spend too much time like lollygagging around and crouching and sneaking past zombies. So I was playing a little bit stupider than I usually do. I think without the recording and without this video, I would have gotten here maybe about 15 minutes later without getting knocked out by zombies, maybe with less of the stuff because I might not have looted as much stuff. But I might have taken more time with the looting that I did do. And you know, who knows? Without the video, I might have shown up just in time for some other player to be here and shoot me in the face when all I want to do is dig up my buried stuff. I hope this is somewhat useful to people who are just starting out with a fresh character. Give them, if nothing else, you can't recreate anything that I just did because your loot drops are going to be different. You're going to spawn in a different spot, but I hope it proves to you that it's definitely possible that you can find more food than you need and you know, not starve to death. All within the first hour of playing the game. It takes about, in my opinion, usually about an hour to get to a good spot and feel like, okay, I'm actually going to survive. I don't have to worry about the very essential parts of surviving in DayZ. You know, remember, you can kill zombies to find easy food, and find warm clothes. Don't get sick. Stay safe out there, everybody. Thank you for watching.